Howdy, everypony. Yeah, I'm just gonna jump right in once more if you all don't mind. Princess Celestia turned to stone. Two guards reportedly found Princess Celestia in her personal study at 12 p.m. this afternoon. At first, they weren't sure it was really the princess, but candlelight magicians ran tests and found a small amount of life force, signaling there was indeed life in the statue at one point. Death has not been confirmed yet, but none of the unicorns in Candlelight have been able to release her from her stone imprisonment. The only other pony at the scene was the princess's personal disciple, Twilight Sparkle, a unicorn in her early 20s, currently living in Ponyville. Guards tried to question her, but she was too traumatized to divulge any details. She has been released since no evidence was pinned upon her, but no other leads have been found. Her younger sister, Princess Luna, has stated she will take over the rights to the sun and the moon. As she isn't skilled at controlling the sun as Princess Celestia, she apologizes if the night may seem to wear on longer than usual. She recommends ponies try and continue their usual schedules as best they can and bear the changes until they can find a way to save her sister. News spread fast in Ponyville, and you could instantly tell every pony found out about it. Oh, good, every pony. Good, good. We're improving. Everyone looked really scared, and as if it was the end of the world. And it might be the end of the world at this rate. Ponies of all ages were devastated to hear the news. Cheerily closed down the school for a while, and the foals who attended the school were really emotional, many in tears. Twilight was obviously taking it the hardest. When she came home, she immediately ran to the library and shut the door. Spike was put in charge of the library, but since Twilight had closed and locked the door during the day, he didn't have any chances to talk to her. The only time she unlocked the door was before she went to sleep, just in case Spike needed to wake her up. Trixie had put the show on hold, as she felt it would be in bad taste to throw a show after finding out what had happened to Princess Celestia. It wasn't fair to make Apple Bloom continue to work on the stage after hearing about it. Even Pinkie Pie seemed out of it. At first she thought it was a prank, probably just an entry from the turnip. But upon hearing from 5 different papers, she fell into a bit of a depression. You know it's bad when the happiest pony in Ponyville loses her smile. I wonder if she got the new hairdo. Fluttershy was surprisingly taking it the hardest, and surprisingly trying her hardest to stay calm. She wanted more than anyone to curl up into a ball and cry, but she knew that wouldn't fix anything. She tried to talk to Applejack, since their houses were so close, but Applejack wasn't home. Instead, she met up with Big Macintosh, Applejack's older brother, and the object of her secret affection for a long time. Even though she had been good friends for a year with him now, she had yet to tell him how she felt. So she's been avoiding everyone? Fluttershy asked Big Mac before he invited her inside. Yep, Big Mac said sadly. She had been real upset since the news came up. I reckon she knows something, but you know how she gets. True, Fluttershy said, looking down. I ain't gonna lie, though. It's scary to think about, Big Mac continued. I mean, how in tarnation did it happen? Ain't no magic strong enough to hurt the princess. I know, it's strange, Fluttershy said, sneaking a look at Big Mac, who looked like he was thinking hard about it. That was the one of the main things Fluttershy loved about Big Macintosh. Though he was quiet, he was also really smart, which Fluttershy figured came with the territory. So how are you handling it? Big Mac asked, catching Fluttershy off guard. Oh, I'm handling it, Fluttershy said, looking away. Big Macintosh raised his face to hers and looked her straight in the eyes. I know you're trying to be strong for your friends, but you ain't gonna be that way with me, he said softly. If you ever want to let it out, you can always do that with me. Mac, Fluttershy said, really flushed when he said that. Instead of breaking down right there, though, she leaned into him and just rested, silently wishing she had the courage to tell him how she felt about him. Applejack had had enough. It had been a full week since Twilight had come home from Canterlot, and she hadn't spoken to any pony. Applejack knew that Twilight Sparkle knew something about what had happened to Princess Celestia. In fact, as much as she didn't want to admit it, she knew Twilight had something to do with it. She needed to get to the bottom of this. The library was closed on Sundays, which meant Applejack could probably talk to Twilight without interruption. After a strong word of prayer, she made her way into the library. Her knock on the door may have been heavier than originally planned, but it got her point across, because Spike was right there. Applejack, Spike said, looking somewhat startled. Geez, did she look that scary? Howdy, Spike. I'm sorry if I'm intruding, but I really need to speak to Twilight. Good luck, she won't talk to anyone. Not even you, Applejack thought. This further proves that she had something to do with it. Why, Twilight? Why? Spike let Applejack in and led her upstairs to Twilight's room. For the past week, it's been horrible, Spike explained. She wakes up, takes her shower, eats breakfast, then goes right back upstairs and locks the door, all without a single word. At least she seems to be waking up on her own now, Spike said. Contrary to not waking up on her own before? Applejack asked. Well, she wouldn't tell me everything, but I think she's been having really bad dreams where she can't wake up. I think she called them night terrors once, but this isn't the first time she's had them. When was the last time? Applejack asked, stopping for a bit. She wanted to talk to Twilight, but this is getting interesting. I think when she was 10, Spike said. I remember she had been screaming in her sleep and she wouldn't wake up. I called the princess, and when I expected instructions, she actually ran into the bedroom and did something to wake her up. They talked for a while, and then Twilight went back to sleep. The princess stayed with Twilight all night, actually spending the night with her. It was the first time I'd ever actually sent anything to the princess myself. I was pretty young at the time. I had just been hatched a year before. I'll see. Sounded like Twilight had been having trouble before. Applejack was really getting worried now. It didn't make sense. Twilight wasn't the kind of pony to hurt the princess. She loved the princess more than any pony, and truly, since she knew the princess personally. She continued her journey towards Twilight room. The second she got to the door, though, she stopped. She felt something really strange and dark. Not the playful kind of dark that was discord. This was pure evil. That shouldn't have been radiating from Twilight's room. Applejack tried to push the door open, but it was locked, of course, so she knocked on the door. Twilight? It's Applejack. I'm worried about you, Sugar Cube. Can I come in? Nothing, but any commotion inside the room stopped, meaning Twilight heard her. We really need to talk. You know I can force open the door if I wanted to. Apparently that hit the mark, because a second later the door clicked and was open. Applejack breathed out in relief and opened the door. Inside she saw Twilight, just sitting on her bed, reading intently, books scattered around her. What in tarnation? Applejack asked softly, looking around. She looked at one of the books, surprised by the title. Pyromancy, the study of fire magic. Are these the books the princess gave you? I searched through all the books, Twilight said softly, as if just to herself, but I can't find the right spell. Twilight, Applejack said, about Princess Celestia. I know, Applejack, Twilight snapped, not looking up. I'm searching for something right now to save her, but I can't. Twilight Sparkle, you listen to me, Applejack shouted, instantly catching Twilight's attention. I need to know something, and I expect the truth. Did you have anything to do with what happened to Princess Celestia? Suddenly, Twilight's expression somewhat turned from a scared to a darker expression. Why would you think that? She asked darkly. I don't suspect it, Twilight, but the report said you were the only pony present at the time, and you have been acting mighty strange. Ever since you opened those books, it's like you're a completely different person. That may have been the wrong thing to say, because Twilight was now glaring at Applejack. So, you too, then? Me too what? Applejack said, now a little afraid. Twilight got up from her bed and was slowly making her way to Applejack, still with a ferocious glare. You think I'm a monster, don't you? What in tarnation? Where on earth is this all coming from? Applejack asked. All I said was, I know what you said, Applejack, but I also know what you mean. You think I'm just some monster plotting the destruction of all Equestria, you and every pony else, including the princess. Twilight looked down and began to cry tears of sadness and anger. You all hate me. You think I'm this bad pony out to kill every pony, but I'm not. I'm not. Twilight, you aren't making any sense. I ain't saying none of those things, all right? Seriously, where's all this coming from? Applejack held out her hoof. Come on, let's get you out of this room. No! Twilight said, suddenly leaning back. I'm not going anywhere. You leave me alone. Now you know I can't do that, Applejack said sternly. Not after seeing all this. Twilight, there's something wrong with you, and I need to know what it is. I won't let you get close to me. The normal purple eyes suddenly turned a sinister red, and her horn began to glow the same way. Applejack was really scared now. Touch me, and you're dead. Twilight, what's gotten into you? I swear, Applejack. The tears flowed freely from her eyes as she prepared to strike. I will kill you. I'll do exactly to you what I did to... She suddenly stopped. Her eyes returned to normal. For a second, she just stood there in an expression as if something horrible had been said. Then she broke down into loud and heavy sobs. Applejack was afraid to approach her, but eventually made her way to Twilight and held her. What in the world has happened to you? Applejack asked softly as Twilight continued to cry. After a few moments, Twilight calmed down enough to speak. Get every pony here. Twilight? I don't care what they're doing. This is urgent. I need to see every pony. This was sudden and strange, but Applejack stood up and nodded. Consider it done, she said simply. With that, she left Twilight's room. No more words need to be said between them, at least not yet. When she made it downstairs, she saw Spike waiting for her. He instantly ran over to her. "Applejack, is Twilight all right?" he asked. "Did you find out anything?" "Trust me, Sugar Cube. I found out a lot, but I don't think you'd like any of it," Applejack said, walking out of the library. "I'll be right back." When she got outside, she stopped for a split second, looking up. She had this feeling in her chest, the feeling of the truth. Even though she didn't know everything, she did know one thing. Twilight did have something to do with Princess Celestia being turned to stone, and just now, she almost ended up the same way. Twilight was running around the library, grabbing book after book and setting them on the table. Afterwards, she ran to the basement to prepare something, but all Spike heard was a loud clanging. She never said a word to him while she did that. "Twilight, what's going on? What are these books for?" "They're for Rarity," Twilight said simply, now searching for another book. "Rarity? She is the only one who can do this. Pretty soon I might be—" She stopped before she continued. "Where— Found it!" she said, pulling out the equestrian reference guide. "Why do you need that book?" "Because of what I kept inside." "Perfect. They came in right on time." Spike was so confused, but he had a feeling she was about to find out what was going on. Twilight opened the door, happy to see her friends waiting outside for her. "Good. You're all here." "What's all this about?" Rarity asked, walking in. "I was just about to have my morning spa." "I was getting ready to practice a new move with Soren and Spitfire," Rainbow Dash pouted, flying in. "I was preparing a party for Trixie. I finally convinced some pony to attend," Pinkie Pie said, happily hopping about. "I wasn't too busy," Fluttershy said, silently saying she was doing something, but this was more important. "Either way, I'm glad you're all here." Twilight ran over to the reference guide. She opened it and used her magic to grab the 5 necklaces inside, giving them to the rightful owners. "Wait, the Elements of Harmony? Are we getting ready for a battle or something?" Rainbow Dash asked. "You may need them to stop me." "You, darling? What are you talking about?" "You're not turning into an evil enchantress that's bent on total domination of the entire world that can only stop using the powers of the elements or anything, right?" Pinkie Pie said, clearly thinking she was joking, but Twilight's sigh made everyone gasp. "Wait, you are?" "That may be a possibility." "Why, though? You don't seem like a bad pony." "That's the thing, Fluttershy. I'm not now, but I soon may become one. And before that happens, we'll need to take drastic measures." Okay, this has been real cute, Twilight, but seriously, you? Evil? This has been the funniest thing I ever heard. "She is serious, Rainbow Dash," Applejack said suddenly, stopping her instantly. "We need to listen to her." "Wait a second. Earlier on you said the one telling us she was just fine, and now you're saying she's not?" "Let's just say seeing is believing, Rainbow," Applejack said, looking away. "These books are for you, Rarity. You and Spike need to use these books to try and find the spell that will save Princess Celestia." "But you're much better at magic than me, Twilight. Shouldn't you be the one to—" "That's going to be impossible for me with what I need you guys to do." "I don't like the sound of that," Spike said. Twilight began walking to the basement, where everyone was shocked beyond belief what they saw downstairs. Shackles, 4 extended from the ground, and currently open. "Twilight, what are these for?" Twilight took a deep breath. "They're for me." Beg your pardon?" "Girls, I need to be restrained. I want you to take those shackles and chain me to the wall. No matter what happens to me, you can't let me out." "You've got to be kidding." "You know we won't do that, right?" "Yeah, you were the one I invited to Trixie's party. By the way, I forgot to bring your invitation. I'll bring it with me next time." "Girls, please!" "I mean it. You have to do this for me." "But why?" "Because right now I'm fighting a losing battle. I've been able to dodge it the past couple of nights, but pretty soon it's gonna catch me. And when it does, I'll be a completely different pony. I will turn on all of you." "You'll be turning absolutely evil?" "I'm sorry, Spike. This is stupid. I'm not doing this." "It was you, wasn't it? You turned Princess Celestia to stone." "No way." "Twilight, please don't tell me." "Rarity, help me out with this, will you?" Pinkie Pie and Dash looked horrified as they ran over to Applejack. "You are not about to do what I think you're about to do." "That's exactly what I'm about to do." "But she's our friend. And beside that, the principal. You're going to chain up our best friend. Doesn't that seem a little, I don't know, sick?" "Look, I don't believe in it either, but this is for the best." That night, after everyone left, Twilight Sparkle felt uncomfortable within her basement. And I'm going to stop there because I've almost reached 15 minutes. Sorry, everybody. I kind of rushed through it, so